Motherfucker.
Hold on, I hope y'all watching this shit.
First round, real quick.
The people that are in those training rooms with him know how good
Because he just knocks dudes out real quick in the first round.
Yeah, but now we're gonna get a good. I might fuck with this guy. He just, to me, I thought he was a con artist, just based off his look.
They're at edge.
Holy shit! What the hell just happened?
What's up, motherfuckers? Welcome to G.W.R. Gonzo's Wrestling Room. G.W.R. Live. We got a big show planned for today. We got big show planned for you guys today as we have a special guest. We have a special guest that came in, or didn't come in, but we had a conversation on Wednesday night. We're going to air that tonight or today here in just a few minutes. But he's a promoter, wrestling promoter of Thunder and Blunder 2. He also does ring announcing for WCWO and some other wrestling places. I've also seen him as a manager. Walt Beasy, Walter Buckley. He joined us for a great conversation Wednesday night. I'm going to air that, and then after that airs, I'll come back and have a few announcements to talk about. But real quick, don't forget we're live Monday through Friday with Easy Money, a sports betting show. Come join us. We're giving out winners. My picks were 4-2 yesterday, and I think 5-1 the day before. Hoping to have another big day in the NBA today. I gave out 4 NBA picks this morning, and then also I gave out some NFL picks for tomorrow. I will get them posted on our social media accounts here in just a little while. Just been so busy doing shows today. I haven't got a chance to get it on there yet, but once I'm done with this show, we'll get that on there. But yeah, you're going to enjoy this show. He's going to talk about Thunder and Blunder 2 coming up February 12th at the Outlaw Arena on Kentucky Avenue in Indianapolis, Indiana. Has a stacked card. You got if you're from the Muncie area, Dalton Love is going to be on that card. Jared Kripke is on that card. Aaron Atlas, Logan Vittor, Del Patricks, Dex Royal. There's going to be a stacked card February 12th. Plus, there's some music acts. So you got a lot going on. Also, don't forget we're live Monday, Wednesday, Friday, 7 p.m. Eastern with GSR, our sports talk show. So that'll be live tonight at 7 o'clock. So come join us for that as well. But without further ado, hope you guys enjoy this interview. And I will see you guys here after this interview, and we'll talk about it a little bit. But here, all right. Without further ado, our interview with Walter Buckley. All right, ladies and gentlemen, here with the one and only Walt Beasy, announcer, manager, promoter. Thunder and Blunder 2 coming up. He has a big show coming up. Also, big sponsor for a match this weekend at Warrior Pro Wrestling. Walter Buckley.
What up, guys? It's an absolute pleasure, honor, and a privilege to finally be in here with you guys. I know we were supposed to do this a couple weeks ago, and life happened, and it stopped it from happening. But, if you really want something, you can make it happen, and here we are, man. I'm absolutely thrilled and excited to have a chat with you.
Oh, yeah, I've been excited to have you on. I better make sure I turn the sound of AEW off before I get in trouble. But no, man, how long have you been in the wrestling business? Did you do any wrestling, or have you just been like the manager and announcer and stuff like that?
Well, to go all the way back, I've been in the wrestling business just under a year. Actually, started sponsoring matches back in March. That's when I did my first one, back when I was still just a YouTuber. It was Iron Demon Shane Mercer versus Always Better Jordan James. And ever since that time, Shane Mercer's been one of the guys that has really been behind me a lot. And has really helped me out tremendously, having a working relationship and a friendship with him. That's been an absolute blessing and something that I'm very proud to have. And it's a nice way to start out. Couldn't have asked to start out with nobody better than him. And speaking of Shane, he is going to be at Thunder Blunder 2. He's going to be in our 8-man tournament for the TOB championship. And in the first round, he'll be taking on Dale Patrick. And that's going to be a match that you already know is going to be thunder. And that's going to be false count anywhere, no DQ. Sure, you've seen plenty of tape of both of them. Just imagine both of them in a ring. It's going to be something else. It's been about 4 years since they've had a match against each other, but it's never been under these kind of rules. It's always just been like a regular wrestling match. And honestly, both of them have really leveled up and stepped it up since that time. And I do believe on February 12th, we're going to get to see something special when the Iron Demon and the Lord of the Yard finally lock up after 4 years.
Yeah, I know I've seen video of Shane Mercer. I can't remember for sure. I think I've seen him before live too. I've seen Del Patrick's live the last couple weekends. I've seen him live. So I've seen him live 3 times now, and he's impressed me every time I've seen him.
He's actually the AWR heavyweight champion right now. He beat Justin Kyle on AWR's first trip to Michigan. He cashed in that AWR One Wish briefcase, and he's really been on a roll ever since. He's just wrestled in Massachusetts just a couple weeks ago. He's made frequent trips to Tennessee. I know he's been to Illinois a handful of times, and the man's really giving it his all to get out there. And I do believe that 2022 is going to be a very, very big year for Dale Patrick. 100%.
Yeah, he was in a tag team match last time I saw him with Brett Havoc, who is another guy that I think's amazing. But
oh yeah, he's going to be at Thunder of Wonder 2 as well. He's going to be taking on Jared Kripke in a match I'm dubbing Battle of the Best, because honestly, those two are really just the best at everything they do. And when you really look at it, they're two of the most skilled people I have on my entire roster.
And they're two.
They're
two of my They're two of my favorites. So I kind of like, oh man, I have to go at each other at the first round. But
yeah,
but it's a match. It's a match I want to see. But yeah, go ahead.
And that really, I mean, if I would have set up the match card differently for like the tournament, I mean, that very well could have been a final match, definitely. For sure.
Oh yeah, easily. So were you a big fan of wrestling when you were growing up?
Oh, 100%, man. That's the whole reason I got into this, man. And it's just a sidebar before we go on. There's a lot of people in the wrestling business that hate the wrestling business, and I understand. If it makes you money, it makes you money. But I could never be a part of something that I hate. And I'll never understand that as long as I live. But yes, I've been a wrestling fan my entire life, man. I remember the very first angle storyline that was happening when I was first watching. It was The Undertaker versus The Undertaker in the summer of '94. And I know a lot of people nowadays look back on it and say they hated it, but being 4.5 years old, I thought that was cool, and even back then I'm like, damn, how is he facing himself or whatever? And that just kind of intrigued me. I remember I cut it out of the little Indianapolis Star TV guide, and I had it hanging on my wall for up through first grade or whatever. And that was I always look back and man, that's when I first started watching. That was the moment that I knew that I had always loved this stuff. And anytime I see clips of that match or anything, I'm like, oh, that's where it all started for sure.
Now since you've been in the wrestling business, do you still watch it as much as a fan?
I definitely keep up with all of it. I do kind of skim through the people that I don't really enjoy or don't really do anything for me. I just kind of keep up with the people that that I'm a fan of, that I enjoy, and then I just kind of get a scan of everything else. But I consistently watch everything every week still. It's just not the entire show. I'll skim through parts and watch what's good.
It's hard to have time to watch the entire show, especially if you watch different organizations. So much.
Yeah, definitely. the one that I end up watching the most of, usually when I can get a chance to watch it without skipping anything, is Impact. Impact Wrestling, I'd say for the last year and a half, going on almost 2 years now, has just really been on another level. And it kind of reminds me of the TNA/Impact from, about 10 years ago, 12 years ago.
Yep.
When it was really on fire and it was on Spike TV and was getting watched by a couple million people a week. Like they're getting those vibes again, man. Like they've got a great product, man. And I'm really excited to see them grow once they can start touring a little bit more. I know they've been touring a little bit already again since everything started to open up back. So that's awesome to see. Scott Moore, they're led by a tremendous dude who's got a lot of experience in the ring and behind the scenes, and they've got a good company behind them and Anthem for their funding and getting the product out there. And, if I had to pick like a favorite organization, I'd have to say it's probably Impact Wrestling, man, for sure.
Yeah, I like watching Impact as well. My favorite for a while had been the Black and Gold NXT. And
nothing to compare to that, man. That really breaks my heart to see what's happened to NXT. Not saying it's bad. In a lot of ways, I kind of like the new NXT better, but I don't like it for one reason, and that's because they literally wiped out their entire previous history without carrying much of it at all over, and they didn't really take a whole lot of time to do that transition. It just kind of happened with like the snap of a finger, I think. And,
yeah.
Another thing I've seen people talk about with the new NXT is how short the matches are now. I know that's like really taking a lot of people off guard.
About the closest thing that I found to the old Black and Gold NXT is NXT UK.
Yeah, I remember watching the NXT UK back when it first came out, when they were doing that tournament. It was on like a Saturday afternoon, and I want to say this was like 2016, maybe. I think that timeline is correct.
That sounds about right.
Yeah, and it's been good, hit and miss for me. But speaking of that, Brain, I can't help but think of Walter right now. Not myself, but Gunther, I guess, is his new name now. Yeah, and I know that really upset a lot of people when they did that to him. You can say that was a blunder, I guess.
So you said you've been in the wrestling business for a year. How long did it take you to build up where you could do your first full show?
It took about 6 months or so once I started sponsoring the matches to get my networking in and get a hold of the right people and all that and such. It's definitely not easy to do it, especially during a pandemic. And I was blessed to be around a lot of people who believe in me and want to see me succeed. And if it weren't for that, I wouldn't have made it as far as I have in the short amount of time I have. And there's been a lot of people behind the scenes that have definitely helped me out. It definitely hasn't been all me. I'd be lying if I said it was.
Is your goal to get like a building and have like a permanent home?
I definitely have a big vision for Thunder or Blunder. It's definitely going to take a little while to get it to where I truly want it to be, but I would like in the next year, well, really I'd say in the next like 6 to 8 months, to be able to go out of state at least, once every 6 weeks or something like that, do a show at least once a month. That would definitely be a goal later on, but I want to be consistent and just to be around enough to where people don't forget about me. I'd love to do a show every week, just like WCWO where I got started, but it takes time to get to a situation like that. And there's people that have ran for 10 years that can't do a show every week. It's just, It's not for everybody. It's not in the cards for everybody, but, I definitely want to do shows a lot more than once every 6 months for sure. That's definitely the short-term goal, is to get them a lot more closer together. Let's just say that.
When you would go, like you just mentioned, going out of state, would you take like Indiana talent with you?
Oh, of course, definitely. it ain't thunder or blunder without the people I started with.
And that'd be cool because that gets them exposure to new fan
Yeah,
bases.
100%, man. And a lot of the Indiana people, they go out of state too, so it'd be a natural fit, you know. I mean, go back to people like Shane Mercer and Dale Patrick and Charlie Cruel and Arlie Alexander, you know, four of my top people, you know, they consistently wrestle out of state and get their names out there in multiple places on big stages. You know, Shane Mercer, he's going to be on a traditional pay-per-view this Sunday for the first time. You know, that's pretty damn cool, you know, to say that a Thunder or Blunder person is on a big show like the GCW one on Sunday. You know, that's a pretty big honor for me on a personal level. You know, New York City is one of the most prestigious markets in the world. And, you know, I think any wrestling promoter who wants to really do something on a big level should aspire to want to go to places like that, you know, and, you know, to see one of my guys, you know, wrestle at the Hammerstein Ballroom, just it lights an extra fire under my ass to get everything cooking for everybody, if you will. Sure.
Also, I think Kripke's wrestling on at Ohio Valley tomorrow, isn't he?
I believe so, yeah.
I believe I just saw a flyer that he's going to be live on TV tomorrow night again.
Yeah, he kicked off the night for OVW last weekend for their Nightmare Rumble pay-per-view.
Yeah, I didn't get to watch it because I was at
you were at
New Era.
You were doing the thing at Shelbyville, right? I can't remember the name of the promotion. But,
New Era.
I remember you guys out there. Yeah.
My dad was at home because he wasn't feeling good. He watched Kripke on that Ohio Valley, and he said Kripke was the best one in the ring out of them three guys. And he said wasn't even close.
Yeah, Kripke, he's very easy to get one over by, man. Like, you got to be, I think, honestly, you got to be a cold-hearted person not to find something you don't like about Jared Kripke, you know. Yeah. There's people that want to, you know, hang on and latch on to Orange Cassidy for whatever reason. But honestly, I think Jared Kripke's a better wrestler than even Orange Cassidy is. You know, I mean, he's that damn good.
That's funny that you said that because we actually made that. Me and Dad actually made that same comparison earlier this week. Between
oh, that's awesome! What a maneuver, man!
Because we was talking about some of the Indiana guys that we've seen that are just as good or better than some of these guys that we watch on AEW. And Orange Cassidy was one of the names that came up.
Well, we definitely must see the same thing there.
See you for the Thunder Blunder 2, you got a stacked card, and then also saw you're going to have some music and some other things there. Sounds like it's going to be a great night of entertainment.
Yeah, man. I'm kind of wanting Thunder Blunder 2. I've mentioned this to a couple people privately, but I'll go ahead and talk about it with you on here too. I kind of want Thunder Blunder 2 to be our version of like WrestleMania 4 on like an independent level. It's going to be a longer show. I've mentioned it in the ad I put out a couple days ago. It's going to be over 4 hours. You know, people are really going to get their money's worth. You know, if you want to go to a short show, you know, don't come to Thunder Blunder. This ain't the event for you. You know, there's other shows out there for you. But, yeah, we want to give the independent wrestling fans something different that they haven't seen because, as you know, there's a lot of people who like to run professional wrestling events and they like to do shows and whatnot. And, you know, for someone like me coming in, you know, I look at what everybody else does and I look at what they do that I enjoy and I look at what they do that I don't enjoy. And I try to take both of those facts and knowledges and what have you and put them together and to make something special. And it is the night before the Super Bowl, so I definitely want to have that Super Bowl WrestleMania, you know, kind of feel. You know. It's definitely going to be an over-the-top situation as far as that goes, for
sure. Yeah, I'm looking forward to being down there for it. I know we're excited that you asked us to come down there and stream it and stuff.
Oh, it's a definite honor to have you guys, man. Like, to be able to have a live broadcast with only my second show. I mean, there's promoters that have been doing this for years that have never been able to have a stream or a live broadcast. And, you guys are brand new too, and I'm new as well. And to be able to work with to be able to have two new entities like ourselves work together to help both of our stuff grow and expand, I think that's the ultimate thunder right there.
That's what
and I know you were.
That's what it's supposed to be. That's what it's supposed to be about. It's seeing
Definitely
seeing everybody. You want everybody to eat.
100%, man. And I was listening to your interview with Buck Sexton, who, by the way, guys, is also going to be on Thunder Blunder. He's going to be taking on Mike King. I think you guys are going to be there this Sunday as well. We're going to have Jared Kripke and Dale Patricks in our first Thunder Blunder match of 2022. And they both are going to put on a hell of a match for everyone, and I think it's going to be the best match on the entire card. I have no doubt in my mind about that.
Oh, yes, it definitely has that potential. But man, I like this card. But speaking of Sexton and King, real quick, it's kind of cool because Mike King was who gave us our first opportunity to live stream a show and do commentary.
Mike King, was one of the first wrestlers I ever got to meet, man. We got to go all the way back to 2010, back when Rob Kincaid was running shows here in Indianapolis. He was the guy who used to be the one that was known for bringing in all the big names. Like all the way back in 2003, he had brought in CM Punk, and toward the end of his career, he brought in Road Warrior Animal. He had Shane Douglas. He had Rikishi. He had Gangrel. He had Kevin Thorne. He had Jake the Snake Roberts. There's other people that. Oh, Rhino. Can't forget about him. He was, I do believe, one of the first promoters here to bring Rhino here. And I got to meet Mike King through that way, and I didn't get to talk to him for a little while, but I've reconnected with him here recently, and to be able to have him on my show when he was like one of the first people I ever interacted with from the wrestling business, that's pretty special to me. And the fact that this match is going to be a promotion versus promotion, it's never happened in the history of Indiana where the owners of two different wrestling promotions have wrestled each other at another wrestling promotion. So I'm very excited to have Buck Sexton throw down with Mike King. And honestly, I don't know how that one's going to go. I don't, man. That's going to be I'd say out of all the matches on the card, that one has like the biggest question as far as what if, like what's going to happen. There's a lot of variables and a lot of things that can happen in that match. Especially when it's promotion versus promotion. More, we very well could see talent that I don't know is going to be there, sneak in the back and pop up, or somebody might be sitting in the crowd representing one of those organizations. They might hop the guardrail. They could have somebody that I already have working for me come out there and help them when, I don't know, I'm opening up Pandora's box by sanctioning this match. So whatever happens is going to happen. And I'm sure whatever is going to happen is going to be quite the spectacle and quite the thing to see for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. And like I said, because Mike King, our show wouldn't be as far along as it is if it wasn't for Mike. So and he's always been good to me. So I think real highly of him. And then Buck, I just met, but he seems like a real good guy as well. So I'm excited to see both of them to get in there and go at it.
Absolutely, man. And when I going back to the interview you had with him, Buck was talking about how he doesn't get to wrestle every weekend or doesn't get to have as many bookings as he once did, and it's both for his personal choice and just for the availability or wants or interests or however you want to phrase or frame that or whatever. But I truly believe that after this match he has with Mike King, I think his phone might be getting hit up a little bit more, man. I think Buck's going to bring something special on February 12th. And this Sunday, when he takes on Blake Money Wright at Warrior Pro Wrestling, I wouldn't be surprised if he brings that Warrior Pro Wrestling heavyweight title to Thunder or Blunder 2 to defend it possibly, because that's something that I think would be pretty cool. So I'm not gonna lie, there's a small part of me that is rooting for Buck Sexton on Sunday. Absolutely.
This will be the first time that I've seen Buck Sexton live. I've seen some video, but I've seen Mike King live a bunch, but going back probably 12, 13 years ago, I remember seeing him back when he was first getting into the business. Because that was when my son was younger, and we were going at that time period to a bunch of independent shows, and then we kind of backed off going to some, and then now we're back in hell. We've been going every weekend here now for the last. Well, for the next 2 months, at least, I know we're booked every weekend.
Speaking of shows you went to back in the day, man, I remember on one of your previous shows you had mentioned that you had used to go to the IPW shows back when they used to run in Fountain Square, right?
Yes, we went to one show there, and it was one of the best independent shows we'd ever been, or I ain't gonna say independent shows, one of the best wrestling shows that I've been to.
Definitely, man. I remember Sammy Callahan used to wrestle for him. Dean Ambrose, John Moxley, he wrestled for him.
We saw him that night. We saw Moxley that night.
Ricochet.
We saw Billy Rock, Bryan Danielson, Drake Younger. I remember.
Yeah, I missed him, man.
Dude, they were all on that same card there at the IPW.
I'm trying, man. I've tried twice now to get Drake. We're wanting to work together. We're going to get there eventually. It's not for lack of not trying. Trust me. I'm actively working to bring him in. For sure.
Yeah, he's good in the ring. I haven't seen, of course, I haven't seen him wrestle in years, but I know back last time I saw him, he could go. Him and Moxley, and man, them guys put on a show. They were outside in the middle of the road. His cars was coming down the road and shit. It was crazy.
That sounds like kind of what happened at AWR last year. I think it was. I want to say it was Akira and Mickey Knuckles. They went outside and they started fighting in the street. And it almost interrupted traffic or whatever. Man, it was one of the damnedest things I ever seen.
Oh, it was crazy because dude, the whole gym emptied and followed him outside. I mean, all of us. And then they went inside, and the whole gym just went inside, and everybody went right back where they were at, we never moved. It was a crazy scene. And then we got to see Bryan Danielson that night, and then 2 days later he was making his debut on Raw.
Yeah, summer of 2010. Yeah, I remember the flyers and stuff going out for that. I remember I went to the IPW show. It was like a month after that when they did the J.C. Bailey tribute show.
Okay, I remember hearing something about it, but we didn't get to go back down there. I think we started helping, not helping. We were doing some shows with Jason Maples.
Oh, Mr. Heroes of Wrestling, yeah.
Yeah, he back then it was called EWF, I think is what he was called, if I remember right. But that
sounds right.
That's how I met Mike. That's how I met Mike
right.
King. Mike King was wrestling for him at one of his shows, and that's how I met him. But there was a community center here in town that me and Dad was trying to help raise money to help keep it open because they were going to shut it down. And we got with somehow my dad found Maples. We got with him and worked out a deal. Done a couple shows up there to help raise money for the community center.
Sweet, man.
Got to sit and talk to Jake the Snake Roberts for an hour one night outside the community center. One of the greatest or craziest conversations I've ever had, but probably one of the ones that I'll never forget because he was cool to sit there and talk to.
Yeah, Jake Roberts definitely one of the greatest of all time, man. Going back to Rob Kincaid, when he had brought him here, that was the first time I'd ever really went to a big independent wrestling show here in Indianapolis. Was that Thanksgiving night show in 2009?
And that's you said that's where you met Mike King at.
I had ended up meeting him a little bit later, but
Okay.
like circling back, that was like the first time I was kind of introduced to like the local, like independent
Okay.
wrestling scene on like a bigger level. I'd been to like a handful of shows before that. Like I want to say '03. It was like April of '03. Rob had did a show. It was Interstate Championship Wrestling in Mooresville, the place that's not even around anymore, called the J2 Hip Hop. And then there was one I went to like a WCWO show in like '05. I think it was Grassy Creek Apartments. It was like a Christmas benefit type show or whatnot. But like '07, I remember I went to my first IWA Mid South show, and that show had AJ Styles on it, and that was my first time getting to see him in person. I got to meet him that night, and that was
That'd be
definitely a evening of action I will definitely never forget. That was a fun one.
Yeah, I've never seen AJ live yet. He'd be a good one to get to see.
Yeah, it's amazing to me to think that there's some people that don't even know that AJ Styles like had a career before he got to WWE. Like, I'd like to think a majority of people know, but you'd be surprised how many people are like, wait a minute, he's been wrestling for how long?
Yeah.
He wrestled who? It's so funny, man. Cracks me up, bro.
Hell, one of the guys that helps me, my cousin, he just learned about the Montreal screw job like a month ago.
Must be one of those people that also didn't know about Ric Flair's thing before they tried to do what they did to him, man. I'm just kidding.
Yeah. Yeah, he did.
Oh,
He goes.
man.
He came. He was watching WWE Network, and he was watching like when they're talking. It was one of the shows where like they're talking about the Monday Night Wars and all. I can't remember exactly what it was called, but he came over the next day and he said, He goes, I didn't know that Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels didn't like each other. He goes, I just found out about the Montreal screw job. I said, where the hell have you been, dude? It's like, but he's just now going to these independent shows with us. He's just now really getting into wrestling. Now he's been watching a lot of the old stuff, and he wasn't into it real big when he was a kid. Like, I remember watching it probably since I was like 4 or 5 years old, watching it with my grandpa, my dad, grandma. We all watched it.
Oh yeah, definitely. Yeah, my grandma was a big reason that I ever got into wrestling in the first place. Like, I remember she had went to go see Randy Savage and Hulk Hogan all back in the '80s at Market Square Arena, back when they used to run shows there.
I was probably
back
at
in the
one of
80s.
those shows. We used to go to Market Square a lot when I was a kid. Yeah, because I know we went around 85, 86, 87, because I'd been like 5, 6, 7 years old. I remember going to them shows, seeing Randy Savage.
It had to have been a good time to be a wrestling fan back then. I was like looking at like some of the match results from like back in the '80s and even like up through like the mid '90s that had happened here. And there was a time when the WWE, WWF back then used to come here like 6, 7 times a year.
Yep. Oh yeah, I remember because when we was a kid, Dad would always get tickets, and we'd always most of the time have good tickets. And
I wish they were the price they were back then. I was looking at tickets are $9, $12, $15, and $20. Damn. Okay.
Only person we didn't get to see was Hulk Hogan, and that was because every time he was supposed to be on the show, we'd get there and there'd be a paper on the door that he was hurt or something and wasn't going to be there, and they'd refund you your ticket if you wanted to, but hell, you're already there, so we'd always stay and watch the shows. But he was the only one we never got to see live out of the mid '80s to late '90s era.
I got the opportunity to see Hulk Hogan wrestle one time, and it was actually the second wrestling event I ever went to. It was in 2002 at the Nationwide Arena in Columbus, Ohio, at King of the Ring, when he took on Kurt Angle. Okay. Yeah, what was I 12 or 13? I can't remember off the top of my head, but Yeah, that was one of the greatest nights of my entire life as a wrestling fan, man. Like, to this day, like, I've probably been, God, 40, 50 different, like, wrestling events, like big wrestling events like that. And that still ranks in, like, the top 5, man. Chris Jericho and Rob Van Dam wrestled that night. You had Brock Lesnar and Rob Van Dam wrestled that night. You had Triple H and The Undertaker. It was a hell of a card for only my second show. I really got a kick out of that.
You had said that you had got your start at WCWO. Did you get your start as a manager or as a ring announcer?
Everything I pretty much ever did, I did for the first time at WCWO before I ever got a chance to do it anywhere else. I sponsored my first match at WCWO. I ring announced for the first time at WCWO. I only managed so far at WCWO. Like, that's the only thing I've still only done at WCWO is manage. I haven't had an opportunity to do that anywhere just yet. The door's starting to open a few other places, trying to get some things cooking. Should see me really, really soon with somebody new actually here really soon. So that's something to keep an eye out for here over the next 4 or 6 weeks, or maybe sooner. I have to wait and see there. But yeah, man. If it weren't for WCWO, man, I don't even know if I'd be talking to you right now, man. I owe everything to them.
Yeah, I really
Gordon,
like
James, Joey. Like, I love those guys to death, man.
Yeah, I really like all them guys at WCWO. They've been great to us. We got to go down there and do one commentary on one of their shows, and then a bunch of the wrestlers from down there came on the show. Blake Money Wright's been on the show once. He's supposed to be coming back on. We've had the highlight.
The TJ.
We've had highlight reel on here.
He actually he main evented the first Thunder or Blunder. Blake Money Wright did. He defeated former WWE superstar TJP, man, and that's how he got the nickname, the TJ P Slayer.
Yeah, I like Blake. He has a lot of talent.
I see great big things for Blake, man. There's not a whole lot of people that come around in wrestling that pick up on it as quick as he does, and you damn near could call him a prodigy of the pro wrestling business, 100%, man. Like, it's just unreal how much better he is than some people that have been around for years and years. And
yeah.
I don't just mean like in the ring, I mean outside of the ring too, like just the way he carries himself and his professionalism. And
yep, from curtain
he has
to curtain.
He has an aura about him and around him that you don't see with a whole lot of people.
Yep. Yeah, and
I'll be shocked if in a year's time Blake isn't in the WWE or an AEW or Impact. Like, I'm honestly really surprised it hasn't happened already, but I know that's going to happen for him. It's going to happen for Dex. There's some other people as well, but those two off the top of my head.
Dex floats.
They jump out right at me.
He just looks like he's floating in the ring sometimes. It's
I mean, he was born to do this, man. I don't know how else to say it. Like, Blake is just another breed of cat for sure.
How did you get hooked up with the WCWO to get the opportunities? Was it just from being a fan and going and watching, or?
Oh no, not at all. Actually, man, I hadn't been to a WCWO show in probably 6 years before I sponsored my first match. Like, when I sponsored my first match that was my first time in probably 6 years being in that building. I actually have Jordan James, but if I really, really think about it, he was my direct connect into there. Me and him actually went to high school together. We had the same 8th grade homeroom teacher. We had a lot of the same classes in high school. We went to the same church in high school. We've always stayed in touch. And the whole idea really at first was just to get him a couple big matches to maybe get him a tryout somewhere, and that's all it really was going to be. And it turned into a whole lot more than that, man. To tell you the real truth there.
Jordan's another one I really like. He came on the show, and then I don't know, about a week later we went down to WCWO to watch, and we're sitting there watching, and he comes out and he has one of our G.W.R shirts on, and he wore it out to the ring and wrestled in it. And then during the match, he actually gave us a shout out. Like it was cool. Like that. Oh no, probably a couple weeks before that veteran show, you were at that show, and Dex had wore our shirt out to the ring, and it's cool to see, because we're trying to help get their name out there, but it's cool to see that they're doing the same thing for us. You know what I mean?
Oh, 100%, man. It's definitely a family within a family atmosphere. 100%. 100%. Sorry.
Well, because and like before I started doing this, really got into it, you used to hear, and I'm sure you did, the horror stories about wrestling, independent wrestling, and promoters and all that. But all the shows that I've been to in the last, well, about 6 months that we've been doing this, all of them have seen like family atmosphere. Maybe I've just been lucky, but I haven't ran into any of the like the bad or the horror story stuff that I used to hear about.
Yeah, man, and that's something I strive to do. Like, you know, when I was really, I'd say in my 20s, I heard it a lot, man. Like about 10 years ago, like I really started to hear about it a lot, about how wrestlers would go to a place and they wouldn't just not get what they thought they were going to get. They wouldn't get anything at all, and they'd be expected to wrestle for free on like a consistent basis, and it's just. Some of the rates, like when I just started doing this and really finding out what it was going to take, financially to pay some of these guys, like it blew me away at how little some of these guys take and such. And like I thought, you know, like I always knew it wasn't a whole lot, but to find out like just how little that they expect from some people, it's heartbreaking. Like to do all that for fucking $20-$30.
Hell, and back in the day,
how did that become fucking normal?
Yeah, and back in the day, and from what I hear, it still goes on some now. It used to be sometimes just like you said, they wouldn't, if they didn't get anything, or they get a hot dog and a handshake. And you go like, you go out there and you put your body on the line.
I mean, understand not everybody, you know, can get a whole lot every time, you know, and it's not feasible to give everybody a whole lot all the time. But I mean, we give them more than enough to get a couple cans of gas. I mean, shit.
Yeah.
I mean, gas is $4 a gallon now.
Yeah,
I mean, if it's premium, it's already $4 a gallon if you drive premium.
Yeah. Yeah. Be fair about it. That was.
Mm-hmm.
Which, like I said, the promotions I've worked with, everybody's been real. We haven't had. I mean, everybody's been nice. Wrestlers, promoters. I mean, we haven't had no problems.
Well, that's good to hear, man.
But like I said, it's the guys I've worked with. It's all like a big family, and like if I walk into WCWO, and same way with you. Almost everybody in that building is going to come up, shake your hand, ask you how you're doing, talk to you. It's just, and the same thing with DCCW here in Muncie, the promotion that Mike King has. It's same thing there too.
Definitely.
Have you ever been to any of the shows here in Muncie?
No, I was just going to say I'm really looking forward to hopefully putting something together with DCCW really soon, as far as maybe sponsoring a match or doing something up there, man. I haven't been up to Muncie in probably, God, man, I think it's been 13 years, bro. I think the last time I was in Muncie, it was for an Acquire the Fire event. Do you remember those?
What was it?
Acquire the Fire. They were these. It's defunct now, but they were these Christian events where they would do preaching and like gospel music, and then they would bring in like a couple big Christian rock bands and rappers. I remember they had Jeremy Camp one time.
Oh, okay.
There's another time they had Hillsong United. They had Grit. I remember I went to one at another location in Detroit in 2007 where they had Skillet and POD, but it was a big like Christian brand of entertainment where they would tour and go to like a different city for 2 days, like each weekend. and such. But they did it at the Ball State place, the Worthen Arena.
Okay.
I know G.W.R used to come there. They had a couple Raws there in like the 2000s. They ran a few house shows here. I don't know why the WWE quit coming up there. Like, that's a beautiful arena.
Yeah, they used to come there for a while. They were coming, if it wasn't every year, it was like every other year. They were coming to Muncie quite a bit. Because I'd take my son to all of them at Ball State. Did you see who DCCW's bringing in for their next show?
The Rock and Roll Express.
Yeah, I'm excited for. I'm real excited for that.
Yeah, man. I see they're gonna face Damon and Damian, the Hoosier Pro Wrestling Alliance Tag Team of 2021. Man, the highlight reel's gonna kick their ass, bro. Rock and Roll Express are legends. You can get behind them all you want, man. But they say that in the promotional material for that match that you want to go, it's probably going to be the last time you see them wrestle here. But they shouldn't have put the word here. They should have just said it's going to be the last time you see them wrestle, because if that match makes it into the ring and that bell rings, there's a good chance that the Rock and Roll Express won't be rocking and rolling anymore. I mean, especially if that match goes over 6 or 7 minutes for sure.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
They ain't gonna play soft with him. They're gonna bring him, give it their all. You know, I was kind of surprised that they had agreed to the match. Honestly, you know, they're really putting their bodies at risk taking a match like that, to say the least.
You know, I'm looking forward to it. When I was a kid, I was a big Rock and Roll Express fan, so it's going to be cool to actually get to meet them.
100%, man. Yeah, I know they got their own training school. I want to say it's in Tennessee, right?
Yep, in Tennessee. I think one of them lives in Atlanta, but yeah, they got that training school in Tennessee. School of Morton, I think it's called.
There's a lot of good wrestling, it seems like, now in Tennessee. Like, I keep seeing flyers. I can't name the promotions off the top of my head, but I keep seeing flyers on my feed that are happening in Tennessee.
Yeah.
Like, that state's blowing up right now for pro wrestling. I know there's a few different big wrestling schools out there. I want to say the Pritchard brother, Tom, he has one out there, right?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure that's correct. I'd like to get to Tennessee and check out some of the wrestling they have going on there.
Absolutely, man. I just kind of want to go to Nashville or Memphis too, man.
Yep.
Like, I didn't really care for country music when I was growing up, but now the country music's better than some of the rock music now. Like, country music sounds cool now. Like, it didn't back in the day.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Nashville too, because I'm a big music fan as well. It'd be cool to go on the Nashville Strip one time and just check different places out.
Definitely.
Yeah, I definitely would like to go see some wrestling out of the state of Indiana. We haven't been out of the state of Indiana to watch any.
Well, AWR, they're going to be back in Michigan in the spring. The flyers for that should be coming out here probably next month or so.
Yeah, I wanted to go to their next show. Yeah, I wanted to go to their next show, but it's the same night as the one here in Muncie, and I'd already booked ourselves here in Muncie, and then found out AWR was on the same night. I was like, man, I wanted to go watch that. That tournament they're having, that's going to be good.
Oh, yeah, the New Blood tournament. You're going to have Dex Royal in that tournament. You're going to have Nate Matthews in that tournament. Blake Money Wright in that tournament. There's a few others, too.
Aaron Atlas.
Aaron Atlas is my pick to win that whole tournament. I'm saying it right here. Aaron Atlas, the young Titan, is going to be the new blood champion at the end of the night. That's who I'm going with.
Have you seen that Mitch Onyx live?
Yeah, I have.
I haven't seen him live. He came on the show, but I haven't got a chance to see him live yet.
You know, he's not my cup of tea personally, but I know there's a lot of people that enjoy him. You know, so I mean, I'm sure he'll have a good showing, but I don't see him going to the finals though. No sir.
Well, another guy I like to see, like going back to Thunder or Blunder, another guy I like to see that you have on there, who's a Muncie, Indiana native, and Dalton Love.
Oh yes, Dalton Love, bro. I'm so happy to have him a part of Thunder or Blunder, man. I think that match with him and Aaron Atlas on February 12th, man, I think that could be one of the greatest matches 1151 Kentucky Avenue has ever seen. Like, I truly believe that they're gonna kick it into high gear, and they're gonna be a cut above everybody else on February 12th, man. And I think that's gonna be the match that everyone needs to keep their eye on. And by the way, that is going to be the very first tournament match of the evening on Thunder Blunder 2. Aaron Atlas and Dalton Love.
So I've known Dalton since he was a kid. Actually helped coach him in amateur wrestling some. So I've known him for a long time. And then Luke Savage,
a tag team partner, huh?
Yep. I was actually his first amateur wrestling coach. I coached him for years here at a community center here in Muncie. And then I helped.
Wow.
And then I helped coach. I coached a high school team here, assistant coach for high school wrestling for 10 years here in Muncie. And then me and Dad ran a youth program, and we probably at one time we had close to 50 kids that we'd take to tournaments every weekend.
That's a hell of a backstory there, man. That is awesome that you have that kind of history with them.
So yeah, we went and watched them here in Muncie last weekend, and that was the first time we've got to see them live. And then we're gonna get to see him again, or get to see Dalton again at Thunder or Blunder.
Hell yeah, man!
I'm glad to see that they got down there. I'm glad to see they got down there to WCWO and started going to that training with Jake Oman and them guys, because in my opinion, that's one of the top training schools there is in the state.
Oh, it's not just in the state, in the entire Midwest. You know, Jake Oman is on a completely different level from anybody else.
How he don't have a contract makes no sense.
It doesn't. Not a lick of sense, man. He made it. I guess there was like 15 people in his group when he had to try out a little over a year ago, and he made it to like the final 3, and they said it had nothing to do with his ability. It had something to do with his age. I think he's 2, maybe 3 years older than me. I'm 32. That'd make him like 34, 35. Like, that's not old. When the fuck 35 become old? Who the fuck's making those decisions?
Yeah.
I mean, we know who's making them, but it's fucked.
Especially in this day and age with all the advancements in medicine and people take new ways to take care of your body and stuff. You're seeing athletes in general being able to compete longer than back in the older days.
Yeah, it takes a lot more to do professional wrestling now than it once did. Like, the quality of an average match now is risen so high that a lot of people that did it even 10, 15 years ago couldn't live up to like the most basic standard of what a wrestling match is now, because it's changed and evolved so much. And the training, man, like, you really don't know what it takes to be a wrestler until you sit in on one of those training sessions. Like, the amount of cardio, forget the actual training of the wrestling, just the cardio is enough to tap somebody out.
Yeah.
And some of those like workouts and drills, like 500 squats.
Yeah.
Who the fuck do you know can do 500 squats just off the street? Nobody. Fucking nobody. Like, it takes extreme dedication, extreme level of conditioning, and an ungodly amount of perseverance and willpower to even make it through the training sessions, let alone to be able to make it through them and actually get to the level you need to get at. Like, that's why so few people make it in the business is because it takes so much just to get through the training. And then once you get through the training, it's a whole lot more to even get to like a big time level or such, because there's just so few spots out here, man, and it's mind blowing to say the least. You know, the whole process and just everything on a grand scope is it's a lot to take in, and you always learn something new every day about it, man. There's just so many layers and so many facets to it all, man. Like, it's impossible to cover it all in one conversation.
Yeah, we got lucky. We was down there to do that veterans show down there at WCWO, and we got there early, set up all of our equipment and stuff. Well, they were it was Sunday, so they were training. So while we're setting up our equipment and stuff, of course, you know, we were paying it. We would look up and watch. So we got to watch Owen in there running the training and stuff, and we're like, man, if you want to be a pro wrestler, this is where you need to be at. I mean, it's just
100%, man. You know, Jake, the same day as my show, I was working on something with Jake for Thunder Blunder 2, and it didn't work out, unfortunately. We're definitely going to work on something with him in the future, but on the same day, it's Thunder Blunder 2. On February 12th, he's going to be an MPG down in Bloomington, and he's going to be training a whole new group of people. You know, so I mean, who knows? Maybe during that day, he's training the next superstar, man. Like, Jake has such skill. I think there's a lot of people that he could turn from nothing into something. Like, that's just how damn good Jake is.
Yeah. No, I agree. We got to see him that day in training. We was like, man, and we've told some young wrestlers, like, you need, if your goal is to go somewhere in the wrestling business, you need to get down to WCWO and check out their training sessions.
Definitely, man.
But you said you hadn't been to Muncie for a long time. When you used to come, what was the organization then? Do you remember?
Oh, it wasn't for wrestling when I came there.
Okay.
As I had mentioned earlier.
Oh, yeah.
It was for the concert.
Yeah, it was for the concert.
That's the only time. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yep. Yeah, Muncie used to be a pretty good place for the music scene, but it don't seem to be like that anymore. I hate it. So I remember.
It'll get there again, man. I noticed Ball State's really starting to blow up again, and their sports teams are really starting to do better. I mean,
yeah.
I think around the next year or so, you'll start to see a little bit more come to Muncie. I wouldn't be surprised at all, man. Stay tuned.
Ball State just keeps growing. They keep building buildings. I know that. Anytime you drive through there,
got that damn money, magic can happen. And I know they got a few other big donors too, man. Like, that is a donor-heavy school with a lot of, like, well-off people to help them out.
Yeah. Is there anything else about Thunder Blunder that we haven't talked about that you'd want to get to?
Go ahead and run back the entire card, man. Just to recap, we're going to have the War of DCCW in Warrior Pro Wrestling with Buck Sexton and Mike King. We're going to have, for the first time ever, OVW superstar AA Ari Alexander taking on the lovely Logan Vitor for the first time ever. You're going to see Hardcore Charles, a.k.a. Charlie Cruel, take on Kayla Cassidy in a match that is going to be absolutely insane and off the charts. Of course, we have the 8-man Thunder Blunder title tournament matches in that. Again, we got Iron Demon Shane Mercer, GCW, who's a GCW superstar. He's been an OVW, was on AEW Dark last summer. He's taking on the Lord of the Yard, Dale Patrick, AWR heavyweight champion. That's going to be a no disqualification, falls count anywhere match. We're going to have Brett Havoc against Jared Kripke in a match that's just going to blow everyone's mind.
Yep.
We're going to have the young Titan, Aaron Atlas, taking on one of Indiana's top rising stars, Dalton Love. You're going to see a match that was supposed to happen back in August finally take place. You're going to see the money weight Dylan Bostic take on always better Jordan James. And that's going to round out your tournament. And we're working on a couple other last-minute surprises, too. As I mentioned, as you actually brought up during our conversation, we are going to have music. We're going to have several local music acts, rappers, much like the first Thunder or Blunder. It's going to be a 4-hour plus show, so everyone's going to really get their money's worth. Night before the Super Bowl, it's going to be a night that Indianapolis never forgets. And I promise you, you throw us that $15 on February 12th, you will more than get your money's worth. And that is not just a promise. That is a guarantee.
Will the champion be crowned that night?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so you're doing the whole tournament that night as well. So yeah, it's going to be a fun night.
Yeah, that's right. Yep. Mm-hmm. Yep.
Go ahead. Sorry.
I apologize, man. Yeah. Also, just circling back, you're also going to see Dutch Boy Platinum on the card. You're going to see Loud and Proud Logan Myers on the card. We've got Jawan Thomas on the card. Still working on a few other people, but you'll see them. Kate Parrish, she's going to be ring announcing the 2 women's matches.
Okay, hold on.
I'll be ringing out.
Hold on 1 second. So, the mother like Jawan Thomas and them, they're going to be wrestling matches there as well.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, big card, brother.
Oh no, yeah, I'm just like, okay. And
yeah, how to get Juwan on there, man? After that big victory he had over Dex Royal.
Yep.
Yeah, working on Dex. Haven't got him confirmed yet, but I'm trying to get Dex too. So who knows? You might see a rematch that night if the cards fall right.
You're forgetting somebody else is going to be there.
Oh, you guys are going to be there, of course. And then I'll be the ring announcer for most of the show outside of the women's matches. So there's that too.
Do you enjoy doing the ring announcing?
I absolutely love it, man. You know, my goal, honestly, as much as I love doing the promoting and having my own wrestling and doing the managing, like, it would be cool to somehow one day get a contract with Impact Wrestling or AEW or WWE or something like that, you know?
Yeah.
Because if I did that, I would still do the independent wrestling. You know, there's other people who have done it. You know, like I'd figure out a way to do it. You know, I wouldn't leave all this behind by any means. That would just be like another avenue I have. But it's definitely a goal, 100% a goal of mine for sure. You know.
And then I got one more question before we move on. But what's your end goal for Thunder or Blunder? Like, what do you see as your end game?
Well, I want to get all my people in Thunder or Blunder in a better place than they were before they met me. I want to make some of the best quality matches that people have ever seen, not just here in Indiana, but outside of Indiana too. Just for quick mention, back in July, I actually helped put together the Machine Brian Cage versus Iron Demon Shane Mercer at BXS, and I definitely hope to do matches of that caliber in 2022 as well. A lot of things we're working on that basis. And Thunder Blunder, it ain't just a wrestling promotion, it's a movement. And if you're a part of the Thunder Blunder family, you're a part of something special for sure. And we're not just here to do our own shows. We're here to bring matches, other promotions. We want everybody to work together because I believe we'll all do better if we work together than if we all try to do something separately. Because if we all have each other's help, we all have an advantage.
Yep.
And that's kind of how I look at that.
That's exactly how I mean, doing what we're doing is it's different than the wrestling business, but there's also a lot of similarities too. And yeah, it's just You got to surround yourself with the right people and help others. It goes back to what you learn when you're a little kid. Treat other people like you want to be treated, and we all can grow.
100%, man. Definitely.
All right. Well, before we end this, do you have anything else you want to plug?
I think we hit it all. Just to recap, we're going to be at Warrior Pro Wrestling this Sunday. We'll have Jared Kripke against Dale Patricks. And again, I believe that's going to be one of the greatest matches that Warrior Pro Wrestling's had in their short history. They're another new entity out there. They started just a little bit after us. But hey, they're going to have 5 shows. They've had 5 shows so far. We're just now having our second. Took us a little while to get that second one, but it definitely is. It means a lot to me to work with people that are new, just like me. You know, there's a lot of people that have been around for a long time and such, but it's a different kind of excitement when you get to work with somebody else that's new.
Yeah.
And definitely, I'd say out of a lot, I've worked for several different organizations, but you know, there's none more special to me probably than Warrior Pro Wrestling, just because of that. You know, we both started in the same year, just a couple months apart from each other. So as long as I do this, I'll always have a special place for Buck Sexton for sure.
And speaking of the Warrior Pro, doors open at 2, bell times at 3 this Sunday afternoon. Early start time, so even on a Sunday you can go enjoy some wrestling and still get home at a decent time.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. It's gonna be our first time down there live at Warrior Pro, and we're excited about it, and then we're excited about Thunder Blunder 2 here in February. So
it's gonna be a special evening that Indianapolis never forgets, and it's an absolute honor that you guys are gonna make sure that it's broadcast for the world to see.
That's February 12th. What's the bell time for that? 6?
Bell time is going to be 6 p.m. Yeah.
Okay, I thought that's what the flyer I had said.
Yes, sir.
Well, man, I appreciate your time, and you're welcome to come back anytime you want.
It was an absolute honor, privilege, and a pleasure, my friend, and I will definitely be back.
All right, welcome back. Thanks for joining us. I hope that you guys enjoyed that interview. I thought it was a great conversation. Can't wait for Thunder Blunder 2, February 12th at the Outlaw Arena on Kentucky Avenue in Indianapolis, Indiana. Going to be a big event, as you heard. It's not just wrestling. There's going to be music there as well. So come out, show some support for independent wrestling. Also, don't forget, we will be live tonight. Also, if you're a sports fan, for our sports talk show at 7 p.m. Eastern with Gonzo's Sports Room. That'll be live tonight at 7. Then we're live tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern with our sports betting show, Easy Money, a sports betting show. Both those shows are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitch. Follow us on social media. Facebook, Instagram, Twitter, all at Gonzo Sports Room. That's where we post all the information about our shows. Whether it's our daily sports picks or interview announcements. We do have a big interview this Wednesday at 5 p.m. Eastern as the ladies' man Mike King. He's a promoter / wrestler here in, out of Muncie, Indiana, is where his promotion is, DCCW. He's been in the business for about 17, 18 years. He's been on the show before. It's always a great conversation when the ladies' man stops by. So I know Wednesday night he'll be live in studio, so don't miss that. It'll be a great conversation. Like I said, I appreciate everybody watching. Please hit that subscribe button, hit that like button. If you're watching on Facebook and Twitch, please hit the like and follow buttons. Hit that subscribe button on YouTube. Hit the bell so you get notifications of when we're live so you don't miss it. We got a lot of big things coming this year. This weekend on Sunday, we're going to be at Warrior Pro Wrestling. That's in Danville, Indiana. Doors open at 2, bell times at 3. Then next Saturday, we'll be in Bloomington, Indiana for MPG Wrestling. It has a stacked card on there. The Cowboy James Storm, Chase Stevens, Jared Kripke, among others. And then February 6th, we're going to be back at Summit Pro in Greenfield, Indiana. Their last show was a great show. Looking forward to going back there. February 12th, we're going to be at Thunder or Blunder 2. And then we have some other dates on down the road as well. So we're going to have a lot going on here. Don't forget, we have our new weekly podcast. G.W.R. comes out every week. It's also on YouTube. New episodes drop every Sunday at 9 a.m. We'll have a new episode drop this Sunday at 9. You can find the first 2 episodes on Apple Podcast, Anchor Podcast, Spotify, Google Podcast. Most places you listen to podcasts, you can find us. You can also find those first 2 episodes on YouTube at our YouTube page at Gonzo Sports Room. But we appreciate everybody watching. Like I said, we will be live tonight at 7 with GSR Gonzo Sports Room. Come join us for that. If not, we will see you guys hopefully Sunday at 3 p.m. for Warrior Pro Wrestling. If not, we'll see you Monday morning, or Monday afternoon, I should say, at 1 p.m. Eastern. Have a great weekend. Be safe. Peace.